So today I have a slightly confused watch to show you guys from TIMEX. This is an Homage. It's an homage to an Omega, the 1957 Seamaster. We're actually going to do sort of a side-by-side comparison of these two watches. Of course, this is a TIMEX, so it's very affordable. It comes in at around $79, while the Seamaster, of course, is around $8,000 or $9,000. But I think it's really strange that TIMEX even decided to make this watch. It doesn't make a lot of sense. However, I bought one. I have one to show you guys, and of course, we're going to be doing a comparison directly to my 1957 Seamaster reissue. However, let's flip the camera and take a look at two watches that are wildly different in price from TIMEX and Omega. So I'm genuinely a little bit confused about this watch. When you guys see the watch, please tell me what your first impressions are down in the comment section below. I want to hear what you guys think, what your first impressions are. Then later on, you could add another comment telling me what you think of the watch after you've watched the video, and you can make up your own mind. But I just want to know your initial impressions. So I ordered this watch the moment it came out, and the reason is because it's obviously an homage to a watch that I own. It is an homage to the Seamaster 1957. I have the reissue. I actually have that watch on my wrist. So we will do a side-by-side of that watch and the 1957 Seamaster reissue. But obviously, they have taken a lot of inspiration from that watch. You have a matte black dial. It's almost like a charcoal color. You have patinaed indices. You have TIMEX at the 12 o'clock, then you have standard, water resistant, and then 50 meters right above the 6 o'clock index. You have a 3, 12, 9, and 6 dial. It is dateless, and you do not have a ghost date position. You get Indiglow, and I'll show you that towards the end of the video. We'll do sort of an Indiglow / Lume shot. I'm not sure if there is Lume in the hands. I will do a Lume shot, as I mentioned, towards the end. But I would imagine there is not, since you're getting Indiglow. It wouldn't really make all that much sense, but maybe they did. Of course, you have a very similar handset to what you get from Omega, especially vintage Omega. So you have a broad arrow hand, dagger minute hand, and then a lollipop second hand. This is very similar dial-wise to that 1957 Seamaster. And that's where the similarities sort of part. The case itself is made out of brass. It is plated with chrome. It's a 40 millimeter case, basically spot on. Of course, you have a quartz movement inside. It's pretty thin, 9.2 millimeters. You only get 50 meters of water resistance. You have a onion crown on here, and it is 6.6 millimeters. It's signed with the TIMEX logo. Lug to lug on here is around 48 millimeters, I believe. So it will wear a little bit big. So 48 millimeters, and especially since you don't have a lot of bezel on here, there's a lot of dial space, it does look bigger than it actually is. You do have a nice strap on here, and the stitching actually matches the patinaed Lume, and then you have a press buckle, which is signed TIMEX, and of course, the case back is pretty typical TIMEX with the TIMEX logo there, and then the globe. That is just sort of lightly etched in the back of the case. Pretty good though. I mean, all in all, this is leather lined. It says genuine leather lining, and this is sort of a canvas, which is actually really nice. I would like to get one of these straps for my Omega Seamaster 57. I really like it. So very quickly, let me show you the watch that I have on my wrist, and we'll do a comparison of the two dials, and then we'll talk about price, and we'll do a Lume shot. So obviously, today I do have on my Omega Seamaster 1957 reissue. This is one of my favorite watches, definitely, I think my favorite dive watch that I own. And here it is. You can see this is just like the same dial, except it's 25% bigger, maybe 15% bigger, because this is a 40 millimeter watch. This is like a 38 millimeter watch, but you also have that bezel, so you do have a much smaller dial. This is dateless as well. You have the 12, 9, 3, and 6 setup. Those indices, the 12, 9, 3, and 6, are a little bit more squat, I would call them. They're a little bit more compressed, where It's almost the same font on the TIMEX, except they're a little bit expanded because obviously you have a larger dial. The only difference between the indices, and I would say there's almost no difference in color, except the color's a little bit nicer on the Omega. You don't have dagger sort of, I guess you would call them dagger indices. The non-primary indices are daggers on the Omega, where they are just sticks on the TIMEX. The hands also very, very similar. However, again, not exactly the same. They're a little bit bigger on the TIMEX, and there's a little bit more. I don't know if it's Lume, but it looks like there's more Lume in the TIMEX, which is kind of ironic. I don't think there is a lot of Lume with the TIMEX, and there's not really a lot of Lume in the Omega anyway. So there you go. TIMEX logo right below the 12 o'clock. And the Omega logo, again, right below the 12 o'clock, and then it just says Omega. Seamaster 300 above the 6 o'clock, and on here you just have a little bit more writing. Now on the TIMEX website, they're saying this is inspired by vintage pocket watches, specifically the Crown. Obviously, we can see that that is not really the case. We know that the inspiration is pretty much directly at Omega. The only thing I can say is different is the Lollipop second hand. However, that second hand is definitely inspired by Omega because Omega did use that second hand on later iterations of this watch. And in fact, the Heritage line, the Seamaster 300, the non-limited edition version, uses that Lollipop hand currently. So there you go. So very, very similar. All in all, I don't think it's a bad looking watch. And there's a reason, because I really like this watch. I really like the Seamaster, and they basically copied that. And they put it in more of a dress watch case that is a little bit vintage styled, maybe like a railroad case, I guess. But very odd that they did this. I think it is really, really odd. This is a $79 watch, by the way, guys. So you don't get a stainless steel case. I believe the buckle is stainless steel, but the case itself, I believe, is brass and then plated in chrome. So there you go. But on my 7.5 inch wrist, you can see this does wear very nicely. Obviously, it feels very light. It does not feel like a stainless steel watch. It feels like, you know, it feels like a cheaper watch. It doesn't feel like an expensive watch on your wrist. Now, TIMEX have been doing some watches that feel a lot better, but I would say this feels like a cheap TIMEX on your wrist. But this does have a mineral crystal. I will say there is one advantage here. You have a flat mineral crystal, and obviously it does not pick up a lot of glare. You can see that this watch is in certain angles almost illegible because of the amount of glare that you're getting on that sapphire crystal. I don't think they put a lot of AR coating on here, and it is domed, which obviously does not help. These go for about $10,000. If you get the box and papers and everything with it, $10,000. Without box and papers, these are going for around $7,000 or $8,000. This is $79. That is pretty damn good. Is it a great watch? No. I don't think this will last you a very long time, but it kind of looks like an Omega. Well, it looks like an Omega a lot. If it said Omega right there, I would be a little bit confused because the shape of the case would definitely throw me off. But if they put an Omega logo on there, I would have to really look at it and be like, why is this? What is this? What is this Frankenwatch? That, you know what I mean? So it kind of looks like a Frankenwatch a little bit. Like someone took a dial from a vintage Omega, threw it into a standard case, and this is what you get. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Now that you know the details, tell me what you guys think down in the comment section below versus your original opinion of the watch when you originally saw it. Anyway, very quickly, let me do a Lume shot or Indiglo shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. There you go, you get Lume on the hands. Not that bad. You have Lume on that Lollipop, on the hour and minute hand, and then of course you have Indiglo. So this is going to be very legible in the dark. Pretty impressive. More legible than the Omega Seamaster 57, I would say. But of course this is a quartz watch with Indiglo, so I'm not sure how the Omega would be able to compete, but there you go. I mean, pretty good. I think it's a good looking watch, and for $79, obviously, you kind of can't go wrong. But again, I am still very confused by this watch. Why would TIMEX make an Omega homage, and such a direct homage dial-wise to that watch. It's pretty weird. Although, like I said, they're not a stranger. They aren't strangers to making homage watches. So I guess I'm not surprised. Maybe I'm not confused. But again, tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of what they did here? Is it confusing? Am I just confused? Tell me down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. It's the easiest way to help support my channel, and like I said, I very much appreciate it. So please, if you can, hit that bell icon, subscribe, and of course, like this video. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you in the next video.